going on YouTube? It's your boy Durant, and we're here to talk more NBA offseason madness, specifically between James Harden and the Brooklyn Nets. Now, this deal hasn't happened. It's just a hypothetical thing that's floating around right now. It's some rumors. We don't know what's real, what's not. Honestly, I don't know anything. I'm just here to talk about the hypothetics of it all. So, what would the Nets have to send out to receive James Harden? Okay, I think the one that everyone's talking about is obviously Karis LeVert because he's a young player. Spencer Dinwiddie because he's an expiring contract. 3 first-round picks, 2 swaps. That's probably going to get it done. Maybe Jared Allen also. Is that a deal that Houston would want to take back? I don't know, because if you're seeing what Drew Holiday got, I like the Drew Holiday. What they got back for Drew Holiday, the Pelicans, is better than what potentially the Rockets could get back from the Nets for James Harden. That deal, so I want something better than that, because James Harden's a top 5 player in the world. And Drew Holiday's mid to me, honestly. He's nowhere near James Harden. James Harden is a top
Richardson from deep. Way off. Well defended that time by the Rockets. Step back 3 on the way. Got it! 41 for the
21, fine, do that. But the Rockets shouldn't rush to anything, nor should they just give in to James Harden's demand to go to Brooklyn if that's not a deal that you should accept. Honestly, I feel like this is kind of like the same thing with San Antonio when they were trying to trade Kawhi. In that they kind of, I felt like, rushed it a bit because they were just trying to get the media thing out the way, and they were taking back DeRozan. They took back DeRozan, Danny Green. No. They sent out Danny Green and Kawhi, and they took back DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl. And did they get back a pick? I'm not sure. But man, that's a bad deal looking back at it. That is a horrible deal. And you don't want to end up in that situation where you're sending out a superstar for mid-level guys, honestly, because DeRozan was not really a mid-level guy. He was a star in Toronto, but that doesn't necessarily mean that player will be a star in San Antonio. You want back equal value. You want young players that have the potential of being cornerstone pieces in your franchise. And this is why I say they shouldn't have to rush to just send James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets. Now, the fit. If James Harden is traded to the Nets, does that work? The main question that should pop into anyone's head is, how does this work between him and Kyrie Irving? We know Kyrie Irving did not like playing with LeBron as much as it seemed. He did not like playing off ball. He did not like LeBron being the ball dominant player on the team. 2, another example, he didn't like playing in Boston's system. We can know that. He didn't like the pass-centric system, and he kind of went rogue in the playoffs in that Bucks series, the last series he played with that team. He kind of went rogue and just kind of did whatever he wanted and dribbled the clock out, and he did not buy into that system in the second year. The first year it seemed like he did before he got hurt. The second year he did not buy into that system at all. And I was scared. I'm scared that that's the same thing that would happen if you paired him with James Harden. People are saying, well, James Harden really wants to go to the Nets. Okay, understand that. James Harden really wants to go to the Nets because he really wants to play with his friend, Kevin Durant. He really wants to play with, he really wants to get back up with Kevin Durant. I don't think this is about necessarily playing with Kyrie. I don't know if those guys are friends or not, but I don't think that their play style and what they do best mix. With players like James Harden and Kyrie Irving, you have to surround those players with other players that complement them. James Harden and Kyrie Irving don't complement each other because they do the exact same thing. They do the exact same thing. These guys are shot creators, and these guys dribble the clock out. These guys, they're gonna kick it out to the open man when they see one. They are not gonna hang around the 3-point line and wait for the dribble drive kick. They're not gonna do that all day. And that's honestly, it's easier to defend because it's something that Houston did. It's something that Houston has done for years with James Harden. Take him at the top of the key, let him dribble the clock out, try and make a play, and then kick it out to the open man when the defense collapsed. I mean, that's essentially what the Houston Rockets did for these past 5 or 6 years with James Harden. And I don't know what the Nets do with that. I don't think the Nets should do that. But honestly, I think the Nets are pretty good right now. I think all you have to do is surround some role players with KD and with Kyrie and go from there. I don't think you necessarily need James Harden. But honestly, I can see it from the sense that you want to dominate. You don't necessarily want to be able to just compete and be good enough. You want to dominate. And there's no guarantees, especially against the Bucks. There's no guarantees against the Celtics. There's no guarantees against the Sixers. There's no guarantee against these teams in the Eastern Conference that you're just going to trample over them and be the #1 seed and get to the finals. There is none. There is no guarantee for that. And honestly, I do feel like this Harden thing would be a disaster though. There is a caution that you have to go when you're throwing the kitchen sink for a player, just completely throwing all these assets. You have to know that this will work. If you have a little shred of doubt in your mind, I don't think they should do this deal. I think this could blow up in their face. Honestly, I think this could be a disaster because I saw Kyrie Irving play with Jason Tatum. It was a disaster. I think this could be a disaster because when Jason Tatum started to come into his own, he started feeling himself and he was holding that rock and he was trying some moves. Kyrie Irving didn't like that. He didn't. You know he didn't. He wanted Jason Tatum in more of a role where he was a catch and shoot player, and Jason Tatum's game evolved past that. And thank God they got Kyrie Irving away from Jason Tatum because it allowed him to flourish and become more of himself as a player. He didn't have to, really worry about the consequences of doing certain things. He could just play with a free mind and play a little bit more loose, and that opened his game up a lot, and we saw that this year. We did. But for Kyrie Irving to go play with James Harden, I don't know, man. That looks like a recipe for disaster. It looks like I was about to say a tornado, a hurricane, whatever you want to call it. A tornado happening. Everything looks like it'd be set for wrong. I don't like that pairing. I don't think they should do that. Honestly, I don't think they should do that. I don't like that pairing. I don't think Kyrie Irving and James Harden should play together. I think those players are too similar in play style to put those guys on the same team and in a system and think that'll work. Honestly, I just don't. I don't think there's a coach that'll handle those egos either. Well, Steve Nash. Hey, Steve Nash seems like a laid-back guy, and but I think they handpicked him, honestly, because they're friends with this guy. But I don't know how he'll handle these egos, all these players in the same, it seemed like a mess ready to happen. But as always, I have nothing left for the video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.